and from humans to pigs, and I can't see any difference between them. I would have voted Conservative today if the Conservatives really had been promising a massive cut in government spending, troops out of Iraq, legalisation of drugs, Britain out of Europe, and the restoration of our historic civil liberties. Instead, the Conservative Party is led by the usual bunch of quizzling right losers, and so I decided to vote UKIP. I see that I have the floor with me.
An active going, look at a voting ballot and go into there's got to be more than to it than that, you know?
Well, thank you very much for that.
Am I the only person in this room who voted for a party which believes in our national independence and some restoration of our historic civil liberties? I can see that I'm in the ICA. If I were in power, I would unfund this place immediately. And I would shut down all the government and quasi-government organisations that pay your salaries. The sooner you lot are spending 18 hours a day selling double glazing on the telephone, the better country I shall live in. Thank you.
That was rather shorter than I thought it was going to be.
UKIP is a nice, obvious dustbin for disgusted Conservative votes. And if those quizzling right losers in central office get up tomorrow morning and notice how many votes they have lost to an obvious Conservative Party in exile, there is an outside chance that next time they might present a clear Conservative alternative. But don't hold your voice, don't hold your breath. Your jobs in the government are perfectly safe under this lab-con coalition party that governs the country.
On that basis, I'd just like to know how many people here are place persons of the New Labour Red Terror. How many actually of you work in the public sector? Can you tell us? A magnificent majority of apparatchik police people. Marvellous, good luck to you. Carry on serving the nation's magnificent way you do at the moment. I want the hall that is so clearly on Sean's wavelength here to sort of engage in a bit of debate. Have we got a microphone that works?
I don't know, yes.
Yes, we have a microphone that works. Does anybody have anything they want to put to Dr. Gabb here on what he said?
Well, there seems to be Dr. Gabb supporters over here. They can say a few words.
But one of the biggest disgraces of this campaign, I feel, is that immigration has become a focal point. And immigration isn't a bread and butter issue for most people. It's been orchestrated as a bread and butter issue by politicians. And that's why when you go to doors now, immigration is number 4, number 5 on the list. It should be on this. Education, employment, the economy, health, they should be on the list. And shame for all our politicians that embrace immigration and also confuse the asylum problem from the immigration problem. So let's make it clear right now.
Silence, everybody, let's talk about immigration. Now, I accept the questioner's point of view that a dislike of non-white people is at least uncharitable. I disagree, however, with the questioner when he says that it is not a bread and butter issue. In my experience, there is a burning resentment out there of the blanket political correctness that has suppressed comment on immigration and race during this debate. I am disturbed at the way in which our witchfinder general, Trevor Phillips of the Commission for Racial Equality, is a state apparatchik. He has no right to tell people offering themselves, he has no right on earth to tell people who are offering themselves to election what they can and cannot say about issues that they and perhaps their electors consider to be of great importance.
Let me come in on that.
I agree. I will repeat. Dislike of non-white people I regard as an uncharitable sentiment, but I absolutely denounce the controlled media and the political correctness of our ruling class, which prevents any kind of honest debate on an issue which people regard as of more than bread and butter importance. And yes, you may boo, because you do not represent the ordinary people of this country. You are sucking off the nipple of the taxpayer. You are vampires, and I would put you out of work tomorrow if I had the slightest moment of power in this country. You are the problem. The solution is getting rid of a lot of you.
Okay, that's a pantomime section of the evening.
However, I must confess that you are mostly a drunken, ignorant rabble, and I very much wish that I were at this very moment at home in bed with my wife. You, the majority of you in this room, have voted for a party that is led by a war criminal. You have voted for a man who took us to war on a false prospectus, who lied to us about weapons of mass destruction, who is the lapdog of George W. Bush and his neoconservative chums in Washington, and who has joined us in the corporate guilt for the murder of 100,000 civilians in Iraq. If this had been done by a conservative government, you people would be rioting in the streets. As it is, there are enough of you taxing to them a country to elect 100 Labour MPs. And if there is ever a real conservative government in this country, the lot of you will be put not on unemployment benefit but on the breadline. And you, each one of you should feel personally ashamed for having voted for a party led by somebody who, when you were still good looking enough to be attractive, was denounced as a warmonger, an imperialist and a fascist. But the iron has eaten into your souls. You are eating our taxes, and you will swallow anything this man and his friends throw at you. You will join in wars of aggression against foreign countries that have never threatened this country at all, because you derive wealth, income and status from the establishment that took us to war. Do you not remember back 20 years ago to when you were wearing your donkey jackets and your CND badges and feel any atom of shame at your conduct today in voting for a party led by a blood-stained war criminal? No, you do not.
Okay, now,
And I despise the whole damn pack of you. And again, if I had a moment of power in this country, I would have you starving.
okay,
Your government has spent so much of our money spreading democracy and human rights abroad that we've got damn all of it left in this country. It is not our business what goes on in the rest of the world. But although it is not our duty to raise a finger in support of oppressed foreigners, it is our duty not to rain death on their heads. And as I said, if you were the people now that you pretended to be at university 20 years ago, you would not have voted for a party led by a warmonger and a war criminal. But no, you've got your nice cushy salaries and networks, haven't you? You've too much to system which has helped to preside over the deaths of 100,000 Iraqi civilians. And I put it to you, as a card-carrying member of the Labour Party, how dare you show your face in public? You are an active supporter of the worst Prime Minister this country's ever had, and an evil, warmongering fascist.
The system is democracy. You can put that view. Respect to putting that view. Robert Hill was
me shouting.
Michael Howard to putting that view. People are not voting for it. We get to elect the government. It's called democracy. If more people can have democracy, I'm for it.
Don't worry, those postal votes have already been counted. Your government will be back tomorrow. Don't you worry about that. You'll get your salaries at the end of this month, and you can plan your holidays in Tuscany. God, I despise the whole damn lot of you. You had the wrong target. I didn't vote for those twisting right losers who describe themselves as the Conservative Party. However, turning back to you lot, you voted for a government today which has abolished the double jeopardy rule. You voted for a government which has effectively voided habeas corpus. You voted for a government which is building a police state in this country. If a Conservative government had done this, I say again, you'd be rioting in the streets. I'm afraid I am one of the small minority in this room who earns his income by offering services to people who can take them or leave them. I have no choice but to pay for your services, and do you blame me if I am filled with just a small amount of resentment?